your family, your town auto group. Thanks for watching the NCW Life channel.
Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us. Happy Monday. It is now January 29th. We are officially in the start of the last week of January, and I ask myself, where has time gone? This morning, I woke up in Kashmir today, and the weather was looking a little bit foggy, a little bit cloudy. That's basically the weather recap for the weekend. We did have some rainy days. If you got a chance to be outside this weekend, you would have noticed that it has been very rainy. Right now, the current temperature sits at 34 degrees in Wenatchee, Washington. And now let's take it back to the 7-day forecast coming up for these days. The first camera here that we have is the Cascadian camera. As you can tell, there's still not a lot of light outside. We can't see a lot, but it definitely looks like the snow has cleared up over the weekend. We're not seeing any snow whatsoever right now on the roads. There was a lot of slush on the snow over the weekends as the snow was clearing up, and right now it is such a good weather to drive with the clear roads. Moving on to the next camera. We do have the Canyon camera over in East Wenatchee, and what a beautiful view we have this morning. As you can see, it's still not sunlight outside. Even though the days have been getting longer, we have a beautiful view of the East Wenatchee city. Good morning and hello to everyone that is currently in East Wenatchee. After this, we are going to view our Omi Gardens camera, and there's just not a lot of visibility there. We can definitely tell that it is really foggy there. I really wish there was a better picture that we could see, but that is what our cameras are currently showing in that side by Omi Gardens. Let's move along now to our South Shore camera. That is in Lake Chelan, and whoa, take a look at that fog. There really is very limited visibility on this camera. We do see some snow still high up on the mountain. It definitely looks chilly there, and there is a lot of fog. So hello to everybody who is viewing us today from Lake Chelan. What a beautiful town. I am so excited about summertime already, but we are still during winter months. Thank you. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Patchy dense fog currently in Moses Lake. Wow, take a look at that. Be careful driving in the roads this morning and probably for the next couple of days. The roads are still very foggy, and we do have a sign that is drive with caution, and this is going to be through Monday morning. So anybody that's heading to work later on today or before noon, just be careful out there. It's better to arrive safe to your destination. Remember that fog limits our visibility, and we definitely still have drive with caution. 7-day weather forecast, the national weather forecast. There's many days. Right now is Monday. The high weathers for today are at 44. Today is mostly foggy and cloudy with a high near 44, light and variable wind. For tonight, a 20% chance of rain, areas of fog, otherwise mostly cloudy with a low around 38. Light and variable wind may arise. For Tuesday, we are having foggy and cloudy with a high near of 44 and calm winds. Tuesday nights, rain likely mainly after 5 a.m. Areas of foggy and cloudy with a low around 38. Light north wind and chance of precipitation is 60%. For Wednesday night, rain, areas of fog before 11 a.m. and a high near 44. Calm wind, chance of precipitation is 90%, and no precipitation amounts between a 1/10 of an inch possible. For Wednesday night, rain likely mainly before 11 p.m., so evening time. Cloudy with a low around 41. Chance of precipitation is 60%. Rain likely mainly after 11 a.m. for Thursday. Mostly cloudy once again. This is mostly what we're seeing for the rest of the week with a high high near a 45 degrees, and chance of precipitation is 60%. For Thursday night, a 40% chance of rain, mainly before 5 a.m., mostly cloudy with a low around 38. For Friday, 30% chance of rain, mainly after 11 a.m., mostly cloudy with a high of 46 degrees. We are definitely seeing a rise in temperatures, which is great. I'm sure that everyone is already ready for some warmer weather coming up with us. And for Saturday, so there you are, the 7-day weather forecast. Today we do have a couple of new segments. Of course, we have sports and a lot of interesting topics. Again, I'm Jasmin Sanchez. We are going on a break and I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, and thanks for being with us this morning.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese splints, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Thank you, and welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. This is the Monday edition. It's now January 29th. Today begins the 18-day voting period for the February 13 special election. On the ballots for Douglas County is a $117 million school construction bond that targets 4 Eastmont elementary schools for building improvements and would add safety upgrades to all schools. Earlier this week, we heard from 4 teachers who spoke about the learning challenges related to the building conditions at Cascade Rock Island Elementary Schools. NCW Life's Jordan Gonzalez got a tour from both of the school's principals to hear more.
Rock Island Elementary is one of 4 Eastmont schools named in their 2024 school construction bond. While the other 3 would see complete modernization, Rock Island would see a single point of entry, be able to replace the roof and their HVAC system.
One of the first grade classrooms didn't get heat. They're having issues with it. I know some of the bathrooms are completely frozen over, it feels like. One of the bathrooms isn't getting the hot water, so it's those kind of issues that even our maintenance department does an amazing job of getting out and helping us and servicing our needs. However, sometimes, if other schools are going through the exact same thing, especially those older schools, Cascade, Kenroy Lee, it could cause a trickle-down wait. Like they might beat us to the punchline, so we have to wait until they get theirs gets fixed, and then we can get ours fixed. So, but our maintenance department, I feel bad because they do a lot of work trying to keep this place up to date, and they're working hard around the clock.
Several Eastmont schools are having problems with their heating and cooling systems, which stem from the age of their buildings. At Rock Island, their HVAC problems are caused by a manufacturer error.
There was a problem in the product design from the company, and now it's causing a lot of issues with our system. That's the reason why like my office, for instance, could be the coldest in the winter, hottest in the summer. But then you go to the classroom, same thing. Cold, you go to some of the even the newer classes or even the older ones, and they're just super cold sometimes in that morning. Summertime is hard because when they come back from the summer and we're in that fall area, but it's still hot out, the sun is directly on that side of the building, and what happens is that that's the hottest part of the day, and the teachers are getting all that heat.
Back at Cascade, Principal Trevor Summers took us through classrooms and portables. Cascade students and teachers utilize the whole school, and that often means making makeshift instructional spaces out of anywhere they can.
We have to create like small group work in like essentially hallways. So this table, and every pod has this. This is where our kids get a lot of their special education services, and you can see the lighting's not great and the space isn't great. It's not conducive for learning, and yet this is where we're having kids get extra support. And this is just the best that we can offer just because of the way that the building's made up. And we don't have any extra space. There's no open classrooms. There's no additional areas that aren't being utilized by staff and students all the time.
Summers also took us through the gymnasium, the floor of which he said basketballs hardly bounce on, to another intervention room that is inside the gym.
For her to work with our kids, she has to go and get them and often walk them all the way through, walk them through a gym to bring them in here to work with them, to give them extra support, and then walk them back, which again, not the most efficient or productive way to do things. You might think, well, it's, what is it, a minute or two to walk, but when you do 2 minutes each way, 4 minutes every day, that's 20 minutes a week times 180 days, it adds up. We're looking at significant loss of learning just because we have to walk to go get students to bring them in because we don't have facilities to properly house them.
The president of Wenatchee Valley College made the rounds this week in the Washington Capitol. Famous Harrison visited state legislators who represent the college's campuses in Wenatchee and Omak, including 12th District State Senator Brad Hawkins and Representative Mike Steele and Joel Kretz, representing the 7th District. Harrison met with lawmakers to discuss WVC's interests and legislative needs while they carry out their 60-day session, which ends on March 7th. In a meeting on Tuesday, Grant County Chelan PUD's commissioner anonymously voted to increase retail electric rates by an average of 3%. The increase is estimated to add $2.50 for the average monthly residential customer and roughly $10 for the average small business. The increase is meant to offset inflation and operational costs as well as to fund future projects. The rate increase will go into effect the 1st of April and is estimated to add $6.8 million to the PUD's current average annual revenue of $226.5 million. 13th District State Representative Alex Ibarra saw one of his bills clear the House this week. HB 1950 would give state employees easier access to the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, which allows them to shorten the life of any student loans they owe. Ibarra and his fellow sponsors say the chance at loan forgiveness is one incentive for workers to apply for state employment and remain on the job longer. In the midst of continuing employee shortages, he co-sponsored the bill with Democrat Vandana Slater of Bellevue. And now with a story that has been heard of over and over for the past couple of days, Wenatchee School Superintendent Corey Kalahar says the decision to close Columbia Elementary School came about just this month in the face of a nearly $9 million budget shortfall. Kalahar spoke with NCW Life's Jordan Gonzalez about the surprise announcement 1 week ago that Columbia would no longer serve students as of next school year. Parents, teachers, and staff were stunned by the news, and many have vowed to fight the decision. Kalahar says the closure is a step the district never wanted to consider.
The conversation, I think, for school closure, it's one that is kind of in the back of our mind as kind of the worst case scenario and a place where we don't want to jump into and don't want to spend time. But I believe, as the numbers were being exposed to us, I mean, we we've had to have that idea in the back of our mind as well too. And so I think that as a district, I think we're in a little bit of, maybe not denial, but a little bit of that area where we do not want to have to go here until we have all of the facts. And the problem with our, not the problem, but the actual pace of the budgeting process has us in January kind of knowing what those numbers look like, solidifying those numbers to where our finance team feels like these are actually the numbers that we need to go by. And that's when we realized that, you know, some of our worst fears were going to have to be realized. And so there have been, you know, conversations and dialogue and research and you know, some analysis on what this could look like for the Wenatchee School District if it were to happen. And I think I was just like, nope, nope. You know, if I were to do some things over again, that might look a little different. We definitely knew that this was not going to be a situation where people aren't going to be upset or talk about it, and we welcome that because Columbia is a great school. They have amazing educators. They have amazing family and students. They've grown to be more than just a neighborhood school. I really feel like, you know, they are a family.
And there you have it. If you do want to see the complete interview, you can visit our YouTube page at NCW Live to watch the complete interview. Thank you to everyone that's on the show with us this morning. If you have a really busy schedule and you would prefer to watch our evening news, we do have programs at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. And if that wasn't enough and a little bit more convenient, you can watch our videos on our Facebook page at NCW Live or our YouTube page. And now you can also download our app. If you are using a smartphone right now, you can take a picture of this code and you should be able to download the app. All our shows are on live on the app if you do not have the local channels. And if you do have something exciting for us, something newsworthy that you think that our community should know, please send it our way at email news@ncwlive.com. This is Jasmin Sanchez. You are watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We are going on a break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
The participants for Super Bowl 58 were decided Sunday with the crowning of the AFC and NFC Conference champions. Kansas City would get a chance to defend its title after downing Baltimore for the Lamar Hunt Trophy 17-10. The Chiefs' defense was key in the victory, holding Lamar Jackson in check while forcing an interception and 2 fumbles. The Chiefs will face San Francisco after the 49ers erased a 24-7 halftime deficit into a 34-31 victory over Detroit. Christian McCaffrey scored 2 of San Francisco's 3 rushing touchdowns, while Brock Purdy outdueled Jared Goff for the win. The Chiefs and Niners will meet in Las Vegas for Super Bowl 58 on Sunday, February 11th at 12:30 on CBS. Now let's check the Les Schwab College basketball scoreboard from the weekend. We do have our men's score. Eastern Washington's men's team picked up an 85-70 win over Northern Arizona on Saturday. Washington State knocked off Colorado 78-69, while Washington downed Utah 98-73. Gonzaga was also a winner in WCC, play by a score of 82-74 over Pacific. In women's college basketball Saturday, Eastern fell in overtime to Northern Arizona 89-81. 17th ranked Gonzaga beat San Francisco 73-54. The Seattle Kraken improved to 7-5 in February with a 4-2 win over Columbus on Sunday. Seattle jumped out to a 3-0 lead over the visiting Blue Jackets at Climate Pledge Arena and held on for a 4-2 win. Jordan Eberle scored the first of his 2 goals over midway through the first frame for Seattle.
Jordan Eberle marked there by Andrew Peak, and now waiting at the point is Vince Dunn. Bjorkstrand, Dunn to the outside, McCann, Dunn gets it. Bjorkstrand, it's tipped in! Alexander Wenberg and Jordan Eberle through the slot. It banks home. Eberle gets it. The Kraken off and running. And forth to the outside of Tatar. He'll wrap it in. Texier is there. Good sweep check by Brian Dumoulin. Tomas Tatar off the boards, not out. Yeah, now he's out. 3-on-1. Eberle for the front. McCann. There he is. He scores! That's hockey, baby. That's points in 6 straight for Jared McCann. 2-0. Seattle. Shoe Casino Resort power play number 2. Done. Downhill a bit, McCann, he'll rim it all the way back. Oliver Bjorkstrand, bumper slot by Eberle. McCann, stopped by Tarasov. Eberle, the rebound, scores! 2 goals, 3 points so far for Jordan Eberle. 3-0, Kraken. A block like that. Chinakhov scores on the short side. Yegor Chinakhov.
Her nephew turns 5 today. He went to the game the other day.
Chinakhov scores. 4:02 left with a bullet. Werenski, Severson blocked by Yanni Gord. It comes out.
Huge play by Yanni.
20 seconds left. Seattle by 1. Marchenko denied by Wenberg. Tanev. Bullseye! Completing the homestand on Kids Night. 2 seconds on the clock. That's Kraken hockey, baby. Tonight, a 4-2 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets.
The Kraken hit the road for San Jose Tuesday at 7:30 on Root Sports Northwest. The Wenatchee Wild finished the weekend 1-1 in WHL play after a loss Friday and win yesterday. Friday's game at the Town Toyota Center went the way of the visiting Seattle Thunderbirds 6-3. The T-Birds jumped out to a 2-0 lead before Wenatchee countered with a goal late in the second and early in the third to tie it. Seattle countered with 4 more goals in the period to go on for the victory. Sunday was a different story, with the Wild jumping out to a 3-0 lead on visiting Prince George. The Cougars countered to tie the game, with it finally being determined in a shootout 5-4 in favor of Wenatchee. Austin Gerard had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
First one in is Sword, but it got tipped partway along. No icing here. Great pace, great flow in this one. 3.5 gone in the first period. Scoreless game. I think we've only seen 1 whistle. Wood driving in, tucks it in and scores! Only 1 whistle. That's our second stoppage, and it's the first goal of the night. It belongs to the Wild. It's 1-0. Briley Wood, his 11th straight game with at least 1 point. In front of the Prince George bench, Mets trying to hop step it up the wall. Wild have it. Friesen punches it through. Esau guy with a foot on the blue line. Across for Wood. He scores! 2-0 with 15.4 to play in the period. Jabbing for it along the wall. Hash marks. And Esau guy has it. Tries to set it up front for Wood. He scores! Or was it Cooper? It was Cooper. He's in front. He's got the Wild in front by 3. Seitz trying to gain control. Walking it to the edge of the slot. Tipped in, and they score. It pinballed off as somebody. Lang with a rip and a goal from the left wing. Played back out, top of the zone. Sward never got it. Headed the other way, Parizak 2-on-2. Chance in front. They score. This game is tied. As it comes back out to Esau guy.
Assist number 30.
Back door. Wood looking for a shot. He scores! On the to the bench again is Ty Young. Height over the red line. Designed over the blue line. Out goes Young. 6-on-5. No goaltender. They score and we're tied. Such a sharp angle try. It sticks in the net just inside the post. Brings Riley Height out to shoot for the Cougars. Alternate captain. Brings it left. He's a left-handed shooter. Brings it right, rather. Throws it on. A save made. Four-handed chance. Evan Friesen. He's got himself an 8-game point streak. Would number 10 be the perfect man to end this in the 5th round around the neutral zone dot tightly? Comes back in the middle. Waits for a shot. He scores! Wild win in the shootout. Drive home safely.
Welcome back. A little recap of sports. And for tomorrow, expect to have a few visitors on the show as well. It was Briley Wood's second hat trick for the Wild this season. Wenatchee heads for Camp Loops Friday to face the Blazers at 7:30. And now turning back to Friday in Big 9 boys basketball in a game that was broadcast here on the NCW Live channel. Eastmont cruised to a 73-40 win over Wenatchee. Moses Lake topped Sunnyside 65-62. In CWAC play, Ellensburg SG Freda 42-38. In Caribou Trail League, Omak topped Cascade 76-44, while Kashmir beat Okanagan 54-43. In other boys scores from Friday, Livingston Adventist beat Cascade Christian 56-51, Moses Lake Christian Thumpthorpe 73-12, Lake Roseville beat Liberty Bell 72-66, and it was Brewster over Orville with 78-26. Waterville Mansfield edged Enia 55-44. Curl crushed Pateros 86-53, and Soap Lake slipped by Riverside Christian 67-54. Now let's take a look at the girls' scores for Friday. Here's what the Les Schwab Prep Girls Basketball scoreboard looks like from Friday. Eastmont beat Wenatchee 69-23. Moses Lake doubled up Sunnyside 62-31. Ellensburg down to Freda 70-36. Zilla got by Chelan 59-38. Omak beat Cascade 37-21, and Okanagan down Kashmir 61-37. For the smaller schools Friday in girls basketball, Lake Roosevelt rolled Liberty Bell 57-33. Brewster pounded Orville 82-9. Cascade Christian got by Auburn Adventist 41-23. Waterville Mansfield shut down Enria 65-24. Curlew caught Pateros 42-37. Soap Lake eased by Riverside Christian 61-19. Now to go over the boys' scores for Saturday. The Eastmont boys continued its winning ways Saturday with a 61-55 win over Sunnyside. Davis beat up Wenatchee 85-28. Eisenhower edged Moses Lake 74-69. Ephrata earned a narrow 61-58 win over Othello. Waterville Mansfield nipped Bridgeport 63-60. Cascade Christian beat Walla Walla Valley Academy 57-42. Now continuing with the girls' score for Saturday. On the girls' slate Saturday, Eastmont beat Sunnyside 78-43. Davis trounced Wenatchee 78-17. Moses Lake shut down Eisenhower 59-23, and Ephrata dumped Othello 49-28. Liberty Bell got by Quincy 41-31. Waterville Mansfield beat Bridgeport 55-19. Gem State Adventist topped Cascade Christian 35-33. The Wenatchee and Eastmont girls bowling teams advanced to state on Friday. Congratulations to them. After a back-and-forth regular season, the Panthers edged the Wildcats for the district championship at Eastmont Lanes on Friday. Wenatchee accumulated 3,812 pins over 3 games, while the Wildcats had 3,752 to finish second. High bowler for the Panthers was Ava Porter with a 256, Eastmont Jillian Castle, and a 198. Now, to recognize our national obscure holiday, National Bubble Wrap Appreciation Day. There aren't many of us who can fathom anyone walking away from a sheet of bubble wrap without taking a few moments and popping a few of the bubbles. It's one of the first things that some people do when they unpack a package they just received. It's that and realize it was packed with bubble wrap. Fascinating facts about bubble wrap. It was in 1957, two inventors named Alfred Fielding and Mark Chevans were attempting to create a three-dimensional plastic wallpaper. Although the idea was a failure, they found that what they made could be used packaging material. Sealed Air was co-founded by Fielding in 1960. The term bubble wrap is owned by Sealed Air Corporation but has become a generic trademark. When it was sold, a packaging material, IBM, was the product's first client. IBM used bubble wrap to protect the UBM 1401 computer during shipment in 1960. In 2015, Sealed Air Corporation invented bubble wrap that comes uninflated to keep shipping costs down and does not pop. Now, in history, January 29, 1861, 153 years ago, Kansas is admitted as the 34th state in the U.S. That is so exciting. The world's very first Pizza Hut was opened in Wichita, Kansas by two brothers named Dan and Frank Carney. There was still a school in Wichita State University, so they paid for their business endeavor by borrowing $600 from their mother. Kansas had statewide prohibition from 1881 to 1948, longer than any other state. Now, Kansas' strict and highly regulated approach to alcohol stems from lingering vestiges of its long-era prohibition. And as of December 2012, Kansas had 30 countries where on-permission liquor sales are prohibited, but sale of 3.2 beers permitted. Now, for birthdays for today, happy birthday to Oprah Winfrey and William McKinley, the 25th President of the United States. Let's congratulate him, William McKinley. And also, happy birthday to Oprah Winfrey. Many of you guys already know Oprah Winfrey. You might have seen her as a TV host. She is one of the first self-made billionaires of the country, and not only that, she has a really inspiring story, the way that she grew up and the way that she made success for herself, continuing higher education and later on having her own talk show host. And Oprah Winfrey, if you haven't watched her videos or if Oprah happens to see this, happy birthday from the NCW Life Channel's family to Oprah Winfrey. And now for our sponsor, thank you for Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Alpine Air is a platinum sponsor of the NCW Live Channel. Now we are going on a quick break. This is Jasmin Sanchez. You are watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live Channel. We'll be right back.
Snow piles up quickly. Remove it just as quickly with Kubota compact and utility tractors. Rated #1 in durability and owner experience, they're built to take on winter with front and rear mount snow blowers, blades, and rotary sweepers. Get select Kubota tractors for 0 down, 2.99% APR for up to 84 months, plus save up to $800 on qualifying snow attachments. See your local Kubota dealer today.
Have you been to Boswell's Furniture lately?
Yes, Boswell's has an expansive 2-story showroom filled with so many great choices for our living room, dining room, and bedroom.
Did you know that Boswell sells directly from their store inventory, so we wouldn't have to wait to get our new furniture?
Yes, plus Boswell's has free local delivery and complimentary design service to help us with the layout and fabric choices.
No waiting and amazing customer service. I mean, why would we go anywhere else?
Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Tiki Hawaiian Barbecue, family owned and operated on North Wenatchee Avenue, right next to Hooked on Toys. Tiki Hawaiian Barbecue uses only fresh ingredients handcrafted with love, including authentic Hawaiian barbecue and Japanese-style ramen noodle soups. And the bubble teas will keep you coming back for more. Enjoy the culinary tour of the Pacific Rim with Hawaiian barbecue lunches and combo plate classics, as well as ramen noodle soups. Tiki Hawaiian Barbecue. Enjoy their comfort food like you're one of the family.
The Clearwater Saloon and Casino has the best Vegas-style games in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy yourself and discover the nightly action. Win big and meet new friends at the Clearwater Saloon and Casino.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new mid-size Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
Crystal's Intimate Lounge is a wonderful place to relax and enjoy your dining experience while taking in the breathtaking views of the mountains. And you can host your next private event at Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge, 2 blocks west of downtown Leavenworth. Enjoy the warm atmosphere of Crystal's event space and the enthusiasm of their staff. Not to mention their mouth-watering banquet menu, which has something to fit every group's needs. Reserve your date today.
Walker's Furniture is overstocked and we need to make room, so this week we're having an overstock sale. Get big discounts of 15 to 30%, even up to 70% off to help us reduce this inventory immediately.
While supplies last at Walker's.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, people my age like to brag about how many grandkids they have. You know, this is what I'm talking about. Some old geezer says, yeah, I got 27 grandkids, 8 grandkids, yada, yada, yada. And we all think, wow, how cool. Well, I have 3 grandkids, and that's all I'm going to have. And you know what? I'm a quality over quantity kind of guy. My oldest grandkid, Alan, he actually lived with us for a few years, and that was cool. He shoveled my snow and he mowed my lawn. And I see Maya and Luca virtually every week, and literally I share their lives. There's no way I could do that with 27 of the little schleppers. So if you're one of those quantity folks, I mean, God bless you. You know, I'm happy for you. But for me, having the tight, close relationship I have with my 3 grandkids is just fine with me. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside, knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere, so when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to Guardian Services from LocalTel. Call Guardian Security from LocalTel now, or visit localtel.net to learn more.
Come see how very different you will feel in your Bullfrog Spa.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
Tuesday was a great display of where our community sits and the feelings from our staff on the idea of closing an elementary school. And it's really hard and difficult and challenging conversations, but it was a good platform for the school district and the school board to hear the thoughts of our community and to really hear that perspective of what Columbia does for our students in our community. So that was it was hard night. I also appreciated the opportunity to share with our community kind of where the district is from a budget perspective.
Was the district expecting this level of response?
We were, based on a variety of information that was, getting to us, and information from the community, information from our own staff, and then just the sheer amount of concern that comes when you have a decision that is this big.
Have you been receiving a lot of emails or phone calls from members of the public?
Yes. The school board and I have been receiving numerous emails from parents and from staff and community members as well, too. So the outpouring of concern is not just wasn't just isolated to Tuesday.
So I think, as we both know, Columbia parents and staff have expressed that they were blindsided by the news.
Right.
Going back to Friday, when Columbia staff first learned about the closure, why was Friday the day that needed to be done?
That's a great question. And I will say that we had some things that happened internally in our system that escalated the need for us to talk to Columbia Elementary sooner than we were prepared to. And so that situation we're still dealing with. And it started a very painful approach to this process.
State law requires that a school board adopt a policy that includes a 90-day period before a final decision is made to close a school. And in that 90 days, there needs to be a public hearing. The decision to announce the closure before the 90 days seems a little backwards. Why were staff notified of the closure before that 90-day period?
Well, because of the previous question, what I mentioned internally, we had to let our staff know very quickly what was happening in case they would to hear about it from other places or other means. We did not want that to happen. We also wanted to get that information out quickly because of the magnitude of the budget situation that we're in. And felt that there was still enough time left in the school year for us to enact the 90-day period and all of the obligations that are necessary there. This morning we've been triangulating on a couple of dates. We'd like to do 2 public hearings as opposed to just 1, so that we can hear from our community, and maybe it doesn't go quite as late as it did the other night, and we can get to a venue where everyone can fit inside and actually be comfortable and hear all of the concerns and comments.
Why were parents not informed the same day as the staff?
That's a great question. We delivered a press release about 24 hours, well, a little less than 24 hours afterward. But the goal of Friday's meeting was to get ahead of our staff communication so that they would not be impacted as dramatically as they might if they heard it from other colleagues or social media sources. And then we want to get that information out to the rest of the community. So we have intentionally, we didn't get to our parents in time, and that's hard.
Where does this idea of a closure stem from? And I'm curious about how far back as well. Board President Julie Norton said on Tuesday that this was the first board meeting where this was ever addressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the conversation, I think, for school closure, it's one that is kind of in the back of our mind as kind of the worst case scenario and a place where we don't want to jump into and don't want to spend time. But I believe, as the numbers were being exposed to us, I mean, we've had to have that idea in the back of our mind as well, too. And so I think that as a district, I think we're in a little bit of, maybe not denial, but a little bit of that area where we do not want to have to go here until we have all of the facts. And the problem with the actual pace of the budgeting process has us in January kind of knowing what those numbers look like, solidifying those numbers to where our finance team feels like these are actually the numbers that we need to go by. And that's when we realized that, some of our worst fears were going to have to be realized. And so there have been, conversations and dialogue and research and some analysis on what this could look like for the Wenatchee School District if it were to happen. And I think I was just like, nope, nope. If I were to do some things over again, that might look a little different.
So to be specific, you're saying that the closure wasn't specifically addressed until January. The idea of a closure did not come up in December or November. This was a decision made in January.
The idea of a school closure has been one that we have considered, I will say, even into the fall, but it's never been something that has been something where we need to plan for this accordingly, although we had to plan for it a little bit along the way, but it was something that we did not want to have to do. It's like a worst case scenario. And then when we look at what the plan is from the district perspective with regard to middle school schedules, high school schedules, and the elementary closure, that, as we shared on the board meeting on Tuesday, that doesn't necessarily get us to where we need to be for next year. And so there are still struggles and conversations that are left to have.
Julie also mentioned that this was, and I quote, not necessarily the preferred or desired way we would have liked to be presenting this, end quote, at the board meeting. How else would the board have preferred to go about sharing this news?
I think we would have, the board would have preferred to have another budget committee meeting and perhaps a board workshop, as she mentioned later in the board meeting. Those are the preferred routes to go in a situation like this. We want to make sure that everyone has the information that is necessary to move forward in a proper process.
And once again, Julie also asked about the redistricting of boundary lines. Mm-hmm. And you said that Davis Demographics was looking into that, and the results were not out yet. I think you said they would be out late February, early March.
That's what we're hoping, yes.
Why was the closure announced before those results were done?
There's the timeline of activities involving Davis Demographics. We contracted with them because of the budget process and what they do with just looking at demographics. I think when we had further consideration that we might be looking at a school closure, that's when we asked them to update the work that they were going to be doing and to look at our boundaries as well. And that's good information for us to have. We usually it looks like it's been every 4 years in the past that we've gotten this demographic information. We may want to speed that up based on what's happening in our community, in our valley, and our declining enrollment, so we have that information.
Whose decision was it to tell the staff that the school would close?
The school closure decision came from the school principal and myself.
And how involved was the school board in making this decision?
In making the decision, the plan for the school board was aware of the plan that the school district had put into place, and they knew that they were going to be deciding on the plan later on.
Does the district have a plan on how students and staff will be reassigned to schools, and will families have an opportunity to choose the school they send their child?
We are working on a plan. That work will come from the work from Davis Demographics as well, and our parents will be given an opportunity to attend one of our schools in the district. There won't necessarily be choice. It'll be based on where folks live in accordance to where the schools are located as well. We do have our choice process that parents can use as well.
Based off comments I could hear from the Columbia crowd, specifically at the board meeting on Tuesday, the numbers presented relating to the enrollment of Columbia may not be up to date. At least on the OSPI website, the enrollment numbers show there are 340 students at Columbia, not 314. How does a discrepancy in numbers happen?
The numbers that we used in the board meeting presentation were K-5 numbers. They did not include transition to kindergarten class, so we used K-5 numbers for that evening when the numbers that were presented by staff included their TK program or transition to kindergarten. So those are the 4-year-olds that are at school as well. So yeah, that was a good point.
And I'd like to address some of the comments that I've heard from the public, specifically at the board meeting. A Columbia parent, excuse me, by the name of Bridget Myers, who spoke at the meeting, as I said. She said, and I quote, "It feels to some of us that there is intentionality behind the announcement of closure and that you were not expecting pushback if it was communicated as a done deal." And quote, "I feel this is perhaps specific to the demographic at Columbia." End quote. Is this decision specific to the demographic at Columbia?
Not necessarily, no. It isn't specific to the demographic of Columbia. And I would say that it doesn't matter what school you talk about closing in any school district. It is, people consider that their home. They consider that their family, away from their family. And there's always going to be pushback. There's always going to be, a hurt community. And we definitely knew that this was not going to be a situation where people aren't going to be upset or talk about it, and we welcome that because Columbia is a great school. They have amazing educators. They have amazing family and students. They've grown to be more than just a neighborhood school. I really feel like, they are a family.
Also pointed out by the public, and specifically Danielle Marchant, who has a contract with the district. The language of the press release sounded as though the decision was final. I think as far as Columbia's staff knew on Friday, the decision was final. You were quoted in the press release saying it is the right decision, and the press release says students and staff will be reassigned to other neighboring schools. Was there a final decision made at the time of the press release?
No, the final decision that was made was the district's plan for reducing the budget for 24-25. So that was it came across a little bit more final than it was, and the idea that the school board will ultimately vote on that in May will be the actual reality.
And just to reiterate, as far as the board and the district are concerned, has a final decision been made?
No.
Something you just brought up, actually, this particular school has a distinct relationship with its neighborhood. These kids are walking to school every day and not typically being bused there. Mm-hmm. Are you concerned about the impact a closure would have on that neighborhood?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always impacts. I mean, I can't predict what those impacts would be, but yes, there is a concern. And the concern, I think, right now is where are our staff, where are our students, and where are our families in conjunction with this decision? We know that it was brought on to them in a way that was surprising and felt kind of out of left field. And so really taking time to consider everyone's well-being is the important part right now, and then taking intentional hand-holding process to help people get where they're going to be comfortable.
There is a large concern over the social and emotional well-being of the students who will have to go to a new school. How will the district be handling their transition to ensure that they are adapting well?
Very gently, and looking at that social emotional piece as being the number one way that students feel like they're connected and that they belong in a new building. And we know that transitions are hard. And so we want to be very intentional about what that looks like. And we feel like our elementary school programs have strong SEL programs. We also have it built into our curriculum day. And so we are confident that our teachers are loving and compassionate, and our schools are welcoming, and they're going to embrace their new students.
Does the district have a plan for the building? Would you consider selling the property?
I think that I don't think we would consider selling the property. I mean, I think our hope in the Wenatchee School District is that we are experiencing declining enrollment, but we hope that there's prosperity along the way. We hope that there's opportunities for growth. We are looking internally at ways to think about how we could utilize the building in the next year or two with maybe some different programming that might be necessary or some areas of growth in our own district. That would be our first choice, is how can we reuse that in an opportunity to encourage additional enrollment, maybe at the TK level, that transition to kindergarten, or maybe there's another program that we can put there that would be advantageous to our school district. If not, I don't think that we're opposed to looking at how it can be used to help our community in other ways.
Your home runs on hot water. From the kitchen, to the bath, to the laundry. So Rheem offers a wide variety of water heaters, from traditional models to ones smart enough to tell you how much hot water is available. On second thought, perhaps the laundry can wait.
Imagine a science project being done on the kitchen table. Feel the excitement on Christmas morning as the kids race down the stairs to form memories that cannot be erased. Listen for the laughter coming from the next room. Put your family in a new home